Exclusively.
What is this?
77 WABC.
Bubbly, bubbly. Set it! You see that girl with the big tic-tac, she fi gimme the head to the floor, girl, gimme the bend over, girl, and gimme the spit down to the ground, seismic activity, spin round me, girl, and gimme the top wine, girl, and gimme the body look fine, girl, gimme the coming out, waste some time, girl, gimme the body look good, girl, you ever be winning it, turn it up right, girl, you never be dimming it, shake up your body, cause you're in your element, funny body may take up a permanent residence. Rotate your body, come in, love, you're spinning it. Rotate your body, come in, love, you're spinning it. Rotate your body, come in, love, you're spinning it.
Here we go.
Make the trumpets blow.
Now you got it.
Indianapolis, baby.
Oh, yeah. The thank you tour is underway.
Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the Bernie and Sid Show here on 77 WABC. A celebratory, a festive Thursday morning on the Bernie and Sid Show. Donald Trump going around the country thanking all of you for your support. And, of course, no bigger supporter than my guy right here, Bernard McGurk.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. Thank you, America, man. It's great, man. Listen, what other president has ever done this? Or president-elect? Let me just say, if this was Hillary Clinton, she'd be on a beach in the Caribbean somewhere, taking a nap in a hammock, and screw the minions who got her in there. This is unprecedented.
You are funny.
This is fantastic.
Right. This is a man with and again, I'm rooting for him. I'm with him. This is a man with a raging ego whose penis can't be soothed enough that he has to go to every single city and state now so he can get more and more.
This man is a winner, baby.
Oh, talking about winners. Look who's here.
Oh, look who just walked in.
Talking about winners.
The Bowman.
My man, what's up?
What are you
what's
doing?
up? The next mayor of New York City.
Yeah,
I was going to say the United States.
Yeah, did you see Big Bird? Big Bird was at the tree lighting last night, de Blasio.
He ruined the whole thing.
I know, he's standing.
I had to turn it away.
He couldn't even smile, but I think he's on a plane now on that flight from New York to Havana to celebrate that murdering. So I went to Cuba 20 years ago. The poor people of Cuba, wonderful, wonderful people,
Nice
Cuba.
people.
When these morons can step up, and even my friend Geraldo Rivera, and say there was any sense of humanity to this creep, he was executing people, locking them up.
Yeah, but wait a second, Bo. He improved education.
Yes, he did.
And
healthcare,
literacy rate, and mortality rate went down.
Okay, let me tell you, I was there. You had doctors and lawyers, and there were female doctors and lawyers that I met. You know what they had to do for a living? They had to be prostitutes because of the money that they made.
I know.
And they made no money at all. And these wonderful professional Cuban ladies, they had to turn to prostitution to make their ends meet, to feed their families. And that creep, they celebrate him. I'd like to punch him right in his face
that's why it's good.
before they cremate him.
Down in South Florida, Marco Rubio, of course, from Florida, he was rough on the guy. I thought that of all the people who have spoken about Castro the last couple of days, the guy that did the best job, I think, Bernard, you would agree, was Ted Cruz. I thought Ted Cruz yesterday, I'm sure you've got that audio, Bernard. I thought Ted Cruz yesterday nailed it.
You know, it's really funny you should say that, because while you were speaking, I was telling Crash to get that Ted Cruz
Brilliant minds.
audio.
Yeah, I really, I've been there, and I just saw the hunger, Bernie, and what was happening, the demising of these people. Wonderful people. Cuban people are wonderful.
Fantastic. Love the Cubanos.
And you want to know something? This guy should have taken a pipe of the dirt nap a long time ago.
No doubt about
what
it.
a wasted piece of garbage.
Hey, listen, would you praise Hitler? Would anybody praise Hitler?
I mean,
and say, okay, he built the Autobomb.
Hold on a second. All these liberals are praising him. You know what we should do? We should praise Charles Manson when he died. He had some social effect on the leftitation. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Where is the humanity of this guy? This guy, all he did was torture and murder people.
Yeah, that's why you should. I'm sure you've heard this before, but play the Ted Cruz thing. I think he said it perfectly yesterday.
It seems the race is on to see which world leader can most fulsomely praise Fidel Castro's legacy while delicately averting their eyes from his less than savory characteristics. What is it about young leftists? What is it about young socialists that they idolize communist dictators who torture and murder people? Fidel Castro and Che Guevara and all of their goons are not these sexy, unshaven revolutionaries in college dorm rooms on posters that make leftists go all tingly inside. They were brutal monsters.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better. Come on, Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. Hey, listen to me real fast.
Nailed it.
A big shout out. I already shout out this morning. You know, people know that I have a little acquaintanceation with the next president of the United States.
Yes.
Now, the thing is, one of my big things was we have to keep this guy in the Southern District that's doing such a great job. I made a phone call this morning to his office to congratulate. I'm so proud, so happy of President-elect Trump keeping that man where he belongs. Preet is my man, and I'm telling you, all I want him to do is slow up a little bit with Big Bird. Let's not put cuffs on him yet. Let's wait till around June or July, and let's cuff him.
That's called for optimal effect.
Political corruption maximentations. This guy pay for play. He's going to pay for this because Preet ain't going to let him get by.
No, he's not. No, he's up Preet's butt, and he, as he should be. Yes, and Donald Trump called Preet Bharara yesterday, as you point out.
Yeah.
Michael Goodwin has a big piece.
Well, I don't want to say that I had anything to do with it.
No.
I'm in a little background. My man Scaramucci is on the Executive Transition Committee over there. Anthony Scaramucci, one of the great Trump supporters.
He's a good friend of the show, Mooch.
And let me tell you about Mooch, one of the smartest Harvard toughs and all. I wrote this book in the rabbit hole, whatever the hell hole it was. But in any case, Anthony Scaramucci, one of the smoothest talking, most intelligent guys on that transition. He's on the Executive Transition Committee, and I say don't say it lightly. He's one of my dear friends, and I'm very proud he's my friend.
He's a great guy. You know, he started the whole primary season. He was a Scott Walker guy. Gave a lot of money to Scott Walker.
I break his chops because first he went from Mitt. Loser.
Right.
Then he went to Scott.
Loser.
And then went to Bush, I think. Loser.
And then he went to Trump. Then he finally went to Trump.
Right. I said to him, you're like the guy in the Bronx Tale when they put him in the...
Eddie Mush.
But he ain't no Mush today.
No, he's a big star.
He stuck with Trump through the end.
That's right.
And you want what a great day it is. You know,
you're right about it. A great day. I was saying that yesterday to Sid, how I felt... I felt really good.
Do you see what this guy's doing? What Trump is doing? Yes. He's flying out to Indiana, Ohio. Man, I just so excited that I know this president.
Castro is dead. Carrier air conditioning is staying in the United States. The market is skyrocketing with confidence.
What a great... What do you say, Sid? Come on, Sid.
No, I feel very optimistic about the future. I'm in now with Trump. He won. Like Shaq. He won fair and square. I've got 2 kids. My son is 8. My daughter is 12. I want this country to thrive. So what I said before doesn't matter.
I got a
good feeling, yes.
Trump is a winner.
I do.
That's the whole deal.
And the Mets signed Cespedes, which is all I really care about.
Let's go to commercials, for God's sake.
All right. God bless President-elect Donald Trump. God bless America. Hey, New York City, Bo is running. I'm filed and I'm running.
But listen,
what is my website, guys? Come on.
Bo for Mayor. And that's BOFORMAYOR.com. Bo
for Mayor.com. My friends.
Are you going out to? Are you flying out with Trump today to Indianapolis and Cincinnati?
I'm not, but I will be at the inauguration. Very proud. In January with the new president of the United States. I will be thrilled. I went to one other one for George Bush Sr., and I actually sat in the presidential box.
Cool.
It is history, man. It's beautiful. Yeah. And then you got to get your tuxedo out there. You go to the presidential ball. I tell you, this is good stuff.
You'll be at the ball. No doubt about it, right?
Do you put mustard on the Frankfurt?
Ball will be busting the move, baby.
And then all the people that you're going to see then will come to your party when, in fact, you win.
Well, all I know is one thing. I'm running for mayor. I hate all these labels. You know, I'm running as a Democrat because I want to be the mayor to all people. I have a very good interest with the President of the United States, and we need all the federal funds we can for infrastructure. We need for housing and also security. Right. And he doesn't want to deal with Big Bird here. So the President
de Blasio has been very critical of Donald Trump. He's already said basically, F you. We're keeping our Muslims. We're keeping our felons. F you.
Then my feeling about it is, if I become mayor, I think the people of New York will support me, the majority of the people. You commit a crime, you're illegal in this city, bye-bye, you take the next banana boat out of here. And anybody who can support that, something's wrong. And something's wrong with Big Bird. Maybe he should go to the funeral of the ashes of Castro. He was there for his honeymoon with his wife. Absolutely. Why don't he go? Hey, why don't you go? I tell you what, Mayor, what's his name, Big Bird de Blasio, I'll pay for the trip for you and your wife to go to the funeral. They got a flight from New York. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I want you to stay there, too. Bye-bye.
He's defending thugs here. He defended thugs during the police protest. He defends thugs now. He wants to keep them. Doesn't want to send them back to
You know what he wants to be? Everybody don't realize what he wants to be.
He's a thug.
You know what he wants to be? He wants to be the progressive president of the United States. He doesn't care about being mayor. He gets going at 11 o'clock in the morning. This guy's a lazy bum. Get him out of here.
He's a slob. Hey, listen, we have a guest coming in next hour making a huge announcement. Arthur Aidala, another Italian American.
My man. He's my man.
He's coming in now.
He's actually coming in. What?
He's coming in now.
Oh, he's coming in now.
About Arthur Aidala.
Did we switch him and Scott Brown?
Yeah, Scott's at 11.
I support Arthur Aidala on anything he does.
He's going to have a big announcement later on. You're going to love it. So Bo Dietl, Arthur Aidala. Things are changing in this country and in this town.
Two great men that will represent New York.
You know what I mean?
As well as it can be represented.
Well,
Absolutely.
all I got to say is one more before I leave right now. Bernard, you stood strong through thick and thin, my baby.
For Trump, yes
you did.
Oh, thank you for acknowledging.
I did not, by the way.
You and Hannity, number one, you're number two. Hannity never wavered, no matter what. When all the issues came out, you guys just stood fast, and I'm glad you guys are my friends, and I'm glad that Donald Trump is our next president of the United States.
And you're going to be the next. Thank you, Bo. Bo Dietl here. Next mayor of New York City on the Bernie and Sid Show. We are back after this.
Bernie and Sid. Live, local, on at 77 WABC.
I know that the president-elect has indicated that he deserves credit for that announcement. And I guess what I would observe is that if he is successful in doing that 804 more times, then he will meet the record of manufacturing jobs that were created in the United States while President Obama was in office. There were 805,000 manufacturing jobs that weren't just protected or saved, but actually created while President Obama was in office. I know that the president-elect has indicated that he deserves credit.
That's enough right there. That's all you got to do.
That's the point. We had it backwards anyway. But the point is,
that's White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest.
Yeah, Josh Earnest. Say congratulations, Mr. Trump. How are you going to 800,000? You got to get your first 1,000, right?
That's true.
That's how you start. He's not even a president yet.
Got to get your first one. Now, look, we talked about this yesterday. I'm not willing to go as far as you. It's a little dirty, this deal. Pence is the governor of Indiana. I'm sure there's kickback money all over the place. It's no coincidence that the deal gets done in the same state of the VP-elect. And also, don't forget, every air conditioning job is still leaving this country. They're keeping the heating guys and a couple of technology guys. All the AC jobs are gone. Almost 2,000. So let's not get too carried away. But we'll give him some credit.
Carried away.
See that?
That was very clever.
I will give him some credit for doing what he said he would do, but this specific deal is not the one you should be beating your chest about. That's my own. That's my deal.
My chest
of course
all the way to Shines in Long Beach. Are you kidding me? This is huge. This is great.
It's not.
The symbolism is just you can't buy it. You can't.
You better do another one. That's all I'm saying.
There'll be more.
Okay, then
the man isn't even. He hasn't even picked his Secretary of State yet, and he's saving jobs.
Okay.
I mean, it's incredible. He just picked the Treasury Secretary 2 days ago.
I'm not knocking him. All I'm saying is this deal was easy.
As
so
promised.
Let's see what happens.
On an issue that catapulted his candidacy, when that tape was released. Remember that heartbreak?
Yes.
Hey, cut 6.
By the way, one other thing. Don't forget that the Indiana taxpayers are going to pay for this. They're going to save about $700,000, Carrier, and that's coming from the Indiana taxpayers.
Instead of paying out social services,
that's fine.
To take care of the people who were displaced. That's the way to do it. And have tax-paying workers in your state as opposed to people on the dole. Anyway, listen, this was the tape that Trump capitalized on from earlier this year, actually, when Carrier mentioned in Indianapolis. Listen to what it sounded like, the worker reaction.
Companies like Carrier
cut 6
are firing their workers and moving to Mexico. Ford is moving all of their small car production to Mexico. When I'm president, if a company wants to fire their workers and leave for Mexico or other countries, then we will charge them a 35% tax when they want to ship their products back into the United States. And they won't leave, believe me.
That was it. I thought we had the tape, and that was my mistake. The tape of the manager making the announcement, telling the people and their disappointment.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't have whatever it was.
But that told the story.
To know that those people now have jobs, and you've seen them. You saw them interviewed yesterday throughout the day on various cable networks.
They were
mostly
very
Fox.
happy. They were very happy. Yes.
When CNN had to actually cover it, they were very happy. So it's a good day.
It's a good start.
And I'm beating my chest.
You need to calm down.
It's the bottom line. Now listen to this cut 4, Mike. This is Newt Gingrich. You talk about some rancor and jealousy and bitterness.
Well, you see, before we even play it, I'm glad you said that and I made this point yesterday. This is not about Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is not giving himself the job. Donald Trump, this is my opinion, is a guy that looks worse here because Romney killed Donald Trump and Trump's going to hire him, not the other way around. So this is Newt Gingrich sounding very jealous because what is Mitt Romney sucking up? He wouldn't have to suck up to a job unless Donald Trump offered him a job.
Right. I think it shows Mr. Trump is bigger than everything. He wants to bring the party, bring the country together.
I'll give you that, yes.
And he's not as thin-skinned as everybody said he was. He can take a punch and rise above it. Anyway, this is what Newt Gingrich said about Romney's meeting with Donald Trump.
You have never, ever in your career seen a serious adult who's wealthy, independent, has been a presidential nominee, suck up at the rate that Mitt Romney is sucking up.
If they have to work together in some capacity, it would be awkward. But Newt Gingrich, I think he wanted the job, and the fact that he was so loyal to Trump and Romney wasn't. There's a lot of. You heard Kellyanne Conway.
She's
you heard
pissed.
Huckabee, the same thing.
The funny thing is, and we have to go to Noam, and then we've got Arthur Aidala with his major announcement, which you're all going to want to hear live in studio. The two guys that were most loyal to Donald Trump, I think you'd agree, the two guys that were most loyal from day one on, even though Gingrich had his moments, were Rudy Giuliani and Newt Gingrich, neither of which, at this point, has a job with Trump.
Rudy Giuliani's still in the running, and if it's not Secretary
right now, he
of
doesn't
State,
have a job.
No,
all I'm saying,
he does not. No,
and
nor have those slots been filled yet.
Right.
So keep hope alive. 1-800-848-9222. Arthur Aidala is coming next. A huge announcement. The famed attorney. He's going to make an announcement on this show after Noam with the news.
From the Nouveau Fat Loss Studios, 77 WABC, New York. News now.
And more. Isn't this great?
So sweet.
Today's your birthday. Now, I know today is Richard Pryor's birthday. I don't think he's in studio today.
May also be Woody Allen.
Woody Allen's birthday and Bette Midler's birthday.
Well, listen, I mean, that's a pretty esteemed crew. Pryor was one of the best comedians ever. Bette is pretty wild.
A junkie and a pedophile.
Listen, don't make them bad people.
Deshaun Jackson, wide receiver of Washington Redskins, his birthday today.
Accomplished athlete. There you go.
And yours, the great Arthur Aidala, everybody.
Yeah. Live from Madison Square Garden. So I just had a little boy, a brand new little boy.
Congratulations.
He was born October 24th.
And you named him Sidney. That was very, very nice.
Well, I am going to speak about
Sidney
his
Bernard.
name because, people think, I named him Arthur, and people think I'm an egomaniac, which I am, but that's not why I named him Arthur. In this very building, on March 8th, 1971, my grandfather, Judge Artie Aidala, judged the fight 9 rounds Frazier, 6 rounds Ali.
That's right.
In the most famous sporting event possibly in the history of the modern world.
That was the second fight, right?
It was the first one. The first one. Ali had been stripped of his title.
Oh, okay, all right.
The whole United States Supreme Court thing, and Frazier was the champ, and it was Ali's first time back, and he got knocked out in the 15th round. And my son now, and my 2 sons, they get to hear the video of Johnny Addy announcing Judge Artie Aidala has it 9 rounds, Frazier 6 rounds, Ali, and that was the deciding vote. And you just hear them screaming, Frazier's won the fight, Frazier's won the fight, and that took place in this very building.
See, I thought when you started the whole thing, you were going to say, right here in this very building is where we conceived our latest son.
No, that was actually in Rocking Horse Ranch in upstate New York, but we can talk about that another time.
At least it was indoors.
It was indoors. So, listen, you guys have hyped up this big announcement, and I really appreciate you guys doing so. It's because it makes me feel very good, and I do feel amongst family when I'm here.
You, by the way, Arthur Aidala is not only a noted, famed attorney, a Fox News analyst, a good friend of former Supreme Court Justice
Antonin Scalia. I'm wearing his pin today on my lapel.
You almost like he was your mentor.
Yeah, he was like an uncle, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's how it was like.
Right.
So I got to tell you.
So you're not just some legal aid lawyer schlub for the uninitiated out there.
Well, there's a lot of great lawyers.
And he's humble too.
Let me
humble too. Look at.
So I was told I'm making a big announcement. So I am going to make a big announcement. I am getting my own reality TV show. It's going to be called From Arthur to Martha. I'm getting the treatments. I'm getting the injections. The hair plugs are coming in. My boobs are getting bigger. Wow. And I figured, hey, if I needed to announce something big, I might as well say, there was Arthur. Now there's going to be B. Arthur.
I just wish you as smooth a transition as what Trump is having right now.
Well,
that's what I.
See, you threw me a curveball because I thought when I read the New York Times a couple days ago, and I read Ken Thompson's successor, a pure district attorney working under the radar, and I saw only 3 names in that column: Swern, James, and Arthur Aidala. That maybe you were coming to tell us that, hey, maybe you wanted the Brooklyn DA job.
That part.
But it was about a reality TV show. That's great.
Is that the part we're talking about? Well, yeah, okay, so we could touch about that a little quickly. Yes, I actually am here live in person to announce that I formed an exploratory committee, and it's a wide open committee. It's called Aidala for New York, and it's not Aidala for DA, it's not Aidala for Brooklyn, it's Aidala for New York. And I'll tell you why briefly, because when I was in poly prep with Sid, I took it was a junior year and senior year, and during the summer, I worked in the New York City Council. I worked for the local city councilman, Sal Albanese. And I got to tell you, Bernie, those particular summers, I will say I got bit by the public service bug. Right. I remember I was 15 and 16 years old. It was the Friday of July 4th weekend. A huge pothole opened up on one of the streets in Bay Ridge, but it was huge. And through the offices of the councilman, I was able to get a repair crew there, and this little old lady was the one who called it in, and she was so stressed out of her mind about it. And the joy and satisfaction and gratification I got from that little episode has stayed with me now. I was 15 then. Wow. I'm 48 in a day.
You made a difference.
It made a difference. And then my time in the district attorney's office working under District Attorney Joe Hines, we used to say we would trip over ourselves in the morning to get to work because you really felt like you were doing something. Yeah. And this is I actually came in with Rudy. So crime was crime. There wasn't 300 murders. It was almost 3,000.
Remember,
so yeah, you guys know what I said. You remember what Brooklyn was like, Sheepshead Bay? I mean, there was
disaster.
Correct. So, and again, that made me feel so good. And I will tell you, even now, being in private practice, and yes, obviously the financial benefits are palpable.
They're good.
But that's not what drives me. When the 2 cases that I think of, one was Billy Rapetti. He was the crane rigger who, when the crane fell on the east side and it killed 8 people, it closed down the whole, they basically made him a scapegoat. And I tried that case. 10 weeks I tried that case. And when the verdict came in, when Judge Roger Hayes read the verdict and said the words not guilty 40 times. 40 times. Yeah. And behind me, the courtroom is packed. They moved us to the ceremonial courtroom. And Sid, there are these iron workers, these crane workers, their fingers are the size of my calves. They're eating sausage and pepper heroes for breakfast. Yeah. They're all hysterically crying. The defendant's wife, Audrey, is in my father's laps, convulsing. And I took in that whole scene, and I said to the court officer, the judge left the bench, I said, can I go out that way? Because the media's all snapping pictures. And guys, I'll tell you the truth. I went in the back, and there was a door there. I opened the door. It was a broom closet. And I absolutely collapsed. I fell on my hands and knees. I was sobbing uncontrollably because this was a factually innocent man who was being scapegoated. There was 1 billion civil lawsuits against the city. Had he gotten convicted, all of those lawsuits would have been wiped out.
Right.
And the judge had the chutzpah to do the right thing. And I didn't make a fortune on that case. And then Bridget Harris is a young woman who kills her father. One of the issues where she winds up chopping off his penis and gagging him and he chokes to death. I did that case for free, Bernard. I did it for free. I probably spent $20,000. And when the jury came back and they cleared her, the feeling in your soul of doing the right thing is just overwhelming. And I can't lie. Mr. Trump has definitely, President-elect Trump, had something to do with it.
Listen to this. That's the kind of public servant we want, is what you just described right there. Somebody with that kind of passion. That's who we want in office.
But the thing is, you couldn't really do that. Like, you didn't feel like you would do that because you had to be a lifelong politician. Look at, Mayor de Blasio. He's been in politics for 40 years. And all of these people who have kind of, Hillary Clinton's been around for 50 years in politics. Right. I haven't been around in politics. I've been around it, but I haven't been in, I'm not a community organizer. I'm just a guy from Brooklyn who loves my community. I have an office in Manhattan. I live in Manhattan. My dad's from the Bronx. I went to law school in Queens. My in-laws live in Staten Island. I'm a total 5-borough guy. And if there's an ability an opportunity for me to serve, I'd lose a ton of money. I have no problem telling you.
Right.
One of the offices I'm looking at that I would love to achieve would be New York State Attorney General.
Right.
Speaking candidly, I went on the website and I'm doing all this.
You're going to take a bath.
You make $150,000 a year. I mean, between my two sons, that's going to be like their tuition. But I'll figure it out. If the people want me to help, make this place a better place to live in, then I'd be honored and flattered, and I'll figure it out.
Well, you're going to kick off this whole. Well, you really kicked it off just now by making the announcement right here with us, which believe me, we both appreciate because we love you, the Bernie and Sid Show.
I'm with family.
Yes,
especially King Flipper.
Yes, but when you're putting together a huge bash in a couple of weeks where you're going to get all these people together. Tell me the specifics behind the big bash.
Here's the thing, and you guys know this, right? A lot of people say they're going to run for something, and they have like $5 in the bank, right? Who wants to be the governor, but they can only raise $15,000? Who wants to be the mayor, and they can raise $10,000? Before I know what I'm running for, I want to know how much money I could put in the bank, because it's all about that. It's all about the funding it.
Sadly, that is the truth.
And as we all know from firsthand experience, like, people BS you. Oh yeah, I want to support you. I want to do this. Let's see who's actually going to sit down and write me a check and put some money in the bank. So on January 9th, Buzzy O'Keefe, who owns the Water Club and the River Cafe, went to high school, Fordham Prep, with my dad. So I spoke to him, and he very graciously is allowing me to use at a fee the Liberty Warehouse, which is his newest establishment. But it's gorgeous. It overlooks the Statue of Liberty and the Brooklyn Bridge and the Manhattan skyline. And Sid, I'm inviting Chris Boyle from PS 185, who I went to kindergarten with, to like the guy who I met 2 days ago in Grand Central who needed to know directions. And he said, "You're such a nice guy. Let me give you my card." Yeah. So I'm just going to invite the whole world. The room holds 1,000 people. There's going to be a DJ. I'm hoping my buddy Joe Piscopo comes and sings some songs. I'll have someone come up, tell some jokes, and we're going to have a great night.
That's going to be
somewhere
the
in there, I'll make a speech, and we'll see how much money. The filing for the whole state is January 15th. So we'll see how much money is in the bank, and then we'll take it from there.
So Arthur Aidala is running to be the Brooklyn District Attorney, essentially.
Well, he doesn't know yet.
You know what? The guy who's there right now, Eric Gonzalez, who that article is about.
The interim.
You're not going to find anyone who's going to say a bad word about it. He's like the nicest guy around, and he's very competent. He knows how to do the job. There's no doubt about that.
He's been there for 22 years.
Exactly. Right. He knows what he's doing. But politics is a rough business. That was one of the first things Trump said the night he won. He said, "I'm tired, and this is a dirty business," or something like that. Right. And the only thing I worry about is how much firepower they come after Mr. Gonzalez with, and whether he could withstand that. He and I have spoken, and I said, "Look, Eric, if you have a clear path to remain the Brooklyn DA, then it's all yours, brother."
Yeah.
Which is kind of not the easiest thing for me to say, because it's been a lifelong dream. But if that's not the path is not there for him, and it is there for me, then I'm going for it.
But are you willing, you talk about Trump. Well, let's be honest here. Trump got very, very nasty with all the guys during the primary and then again with Hillary during the race. Are you willing to take down Eric Gonzalez in that fashion?
Well, no. To thy own self be true. In other words, Donald Trump did so well because he was Donald Trump. He wasn't anyone else. But I'm going to be Arthur Aidala. So when the political pundits say, "You can't tell them about Fox News. You can't say you represented Lawrence Taylor." Right. I go, "Wait, what do you see? Lawrence Taylor became one of my closest friends. I love being on Fox News. I'm not going to run away from
Don't tell me you went to polyprep with Sid.
Right, yeah. Being Italian-American in Brooklyn isn't the great. Well, what am I going to do? I'm going to get an extra suntan and say I'm Cuban?
It's going to be out there anyway.
I am who I am. This is who I am. If people want me to be their leader, I'm flattered. And if they don't want me to be, I have a beautiful life. I'm getting to hang out with you guys
It's
right now.
It's a win-win situation.
It's a win-win situation.
But to be Brooklyn District Attorney, you have to want to lock up the bad guys, too. You have to have
obviously. And look, I did that. Mr. Hines tapped me to try, alongside my friend Joe Alexis, we tried the first murder one case in the city. It was the first case that was eligible for the death penalty.
Oh, wow.
But and this is my theme tonight when my best friend Josh Hanshaft becomes a judge. We didn't just look at the victim and what we did. We looked at the defendant. And you know why we didn't recommend the death penalty? This was a kid whose mother was found with a heroin needle in her arm, draped over a radiator when he was 10. And Bernie, you know who took care of the 10-year-old?
No.
Nobody. No one.
Wow.
The kid went into the subway tunnels and raised himself like a wolf, like Mowgli from the jungle.
Right.
I mean, he just survived, but he didn't know any better. He did the most horrific thing. He shot someone in the head in the middle of a grocery store. But so we asked for life without parole, and he was convicted for life without parole. But you never feel good about that. You just feel like, look, we did the right thing. But there's not that exhilaration that you had like with Billy Rapetti or Bridget Harris when you exonerate someone. And even LT was getting a bad situation.
Please.
And he got out of a bad situation. He's no saint, but he's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Anyone who hangs out with him will tell you that.
Listen,
so, look,
speaking of
I
great
am
guys,
who I am, and this is what I'm doing, and we'll see what the future holds.
Speaking of great guys, Arthur Aidala, you are a great guy. New York guy.
Great guy.
If you say so, it must be true.
It's true.
It's a damn fact.
Listen, I'm going to say this to complete Bernie. You're going to win something. Now, whether it's a Brooklyn DA, we don't know, but you're going to win something. January 9th, you're going to kick it off, and 6 days later, you're going to win something.
Running for mayor. Boy, de Blasio's got an issue, not by me, but everyone's like, you should run for mayor. You got to run for mayor. I'm like, oh.
When is Schneiderman running?
Well, here's the real quick. Everyone is now believing that Governor Cuomo is going to launch his presidential campaign. Like, he is going to run against Trump in 4 years. This is his time. This is his moment. So in 2 years, he would give up the governorship, and everyone knows Eric Schneiderman, the current attorney general, will run for governor.
A skunk, a certified skunk, that guy.
I'm going to take the fifth on that.
Right.
And
you can say it.
And then the attorney general seat, the statewide seat, would be wide open. And quite frankly, as a white, heterosexual, Italian-American male who works on Fox News, who considered Justice Scalia his uncle,
smokes cigars.
I'm better off running statewide. I'm more appealing in that electorate than I may be locally.
Just so you know, Curtis Slewa has just announced he's running for Brooklyn DA.
As long as Curtis Slewa endorses me, I'm in good shape.
Hey, Arthur Aidala, we wish you all the best, and we'll be in touch.
What a great
happy
way to
birthday!
end my birthday.
Congratulations on your marriage and your baby. Arthur Aidala on the Bernie.
Happy birthday to me.
Back after this.
77 WABC traffic.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exclusively.
What is this?
77 WABC.
This Thursday, this is true, to show his appreciation, President-elect Trump will be going on a thank you tour. Yeah, the tour starts in Moscow and makes its way slowly through the Ukraine.
That is not funny, Sid.
That is really funny.
Not funny at all.
Nailed it. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Bernie and Sid Show with a great song by the Rolling Stones in the background. Here on 77 WABC, our exciting hour number 1. Bo Dietl was here, running, of course, for mayor in New York City. Then Arthur Aidala with his major announcement, maybe Brooklyn DA. He'll do something in public office here in New York. And now we've got this. So I get up this morning, and I've been hearing reports for a couple of days, you and I, Bernard, that our great buddy from Massachusetts, Scott Brown, is being considered in a big way for the Secretary of Veteran Affairs. So that's great. So I send out a tweet this morning, a public tweet, mind you, Bernard, that says, great luck to my buddy Scott Brown on getting a gig with Donald Trump and his cabinet, okay? I got to tell you, maybe 20 minutes later, I get a direct message. This type of guy Scott Brown is. I get a direct message from Scott Brown saying, thanks, Sid. How many guys would do that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
With all that said, joining us right now, a guy that I know you love, and I love, and we all love, out of Massachusetts, the great Scott Brown. Good morning, Scott.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, Sid. Bernie, how you doing? Happy day to everybody in New York. It's a beautiful day.
It is a happy day. It's actually a great week for this nation, I would say. First, you had even though it was in our hemisphere, the death of Castro. You have you have Carrier Air Conditioning staying in Indianapolis. Donald Trump, the guy who you were on that bandwagon way early, Scott Brown was. And Trump's going out for his thank you tour, which is unprecedented. What president-elect has ever done this before?
Well, exactly, and he's not like any other president-elect, and the fact that he's not even the president yet, and he's going out and doing what he said he would do, which is try to save jobs and keep them in the country. And just by lowering the corporate tax rates down to 15, 16, 17, whatever that number that is, percent, repatriating all that offshore money, which is upwards of $3 trillion, and then streamlining regulations, you're creating an automatic pay raise for every business, every person that owns a business, unless they're a sole proprietor and they use flow-through or they use the Social Security numbers, and that's next. So it's a good day, as evidenced by the stock market, as evidenced by the feeling that people are going out and buying. They're buying homes. They just feel good, and that's a good thing.
It's my job, Scott, to kind of piss on the parade just a little bit. I'm sorry. But
okay,
I got to speak for the critics. I don't necessarily feel this way, but I got to bring it up anyway. The Carrier deal, for example, Scott, in Indiana, okay, here's what they say. First of all, Josh Earnest comes out and says, that's great. He's done 805 more. He'll reach Barack Obama. Then he goes to say, listen, the fact is all the AC jobs are still going to Mexico. Mike Pence is the governor in Indiana, so there's obviously, that's not a coincidence that the deal gets done in Indiana. Who knows what backwards money is going where. Indiana people are still going to be taxed pretty heavily to keep those jobs in the state. What about some of the criticism level that what looks like a home run?
Well, actually, all good points, Sid. All good points, but here it is. He's not the president yet, and yet he's already doing this. And the fact that he's creating an environment for other businesses to say, you know what, we're going to think things over a little bit, because you have the rule of law here in the United States. You have, I think, the best workers in the world here in the United States. And you have the ability to lower corporate tax rates and become competitive on a global basis. I think all leads to the fact that not only Carrier, but other companies will stay in effect. And we don't know, I don't know yet what the actual deal is, but I know just by lowering corporate tax rates and keeping that good rule of law and streamlining regulations, there may have been some, local city or state incentives that we give to many businesses to keep them there. And I think that's all a positive thing, especially if you're continuing to hire, keep people in that city, and those payroll taxes and other taxes will help offset any type of incentives that they ultimately got. So it's the beginning, and people can be naysayers, but it's just that he hasn't even been elected yet, and he's already out hustling.
I mean, these guys are unbelievable, looking at a gift horse in the mouth. The man is, look, the symbolism alone, Scott, as a Senator Brown, let me just address you by your title. Look, the symbolism, the message it sends to other people, as you pointed out, but just he exudes winner. I mean, it reminds me of Ronald Reagan before he took office, the Iranians releasing the hostages, getting things done before he takes off. Just the idea that he's doing so. And as far as making America economically great again, you mentioned repatriating the money, the tax reform, all of that stuff. Also, the other component, I would say, is that making the country energy independent, lifting all those regulations, exploiting the gas, the coal, and the oil that we have, that this administration has handcuffed our own energy companies in this country from doing it.
And I believe that's accurate, and I believe we also need to do it in an environmentally responsible way, and I believe we have the engineers and people who understand how to do it better than anyone in the world, and we can do it. And we can do it in a thoughtful, methodical, conservation-friendly, environmentally friendly way. But to think that we just don't do it just because we're kowtowing to the radical environmentalists is wrong. We need to become energy independent. You say, well, energy's so low. Yeah, it's low today, but what about in 2, 3, 4, 5 years? That's the problem. We need to think, for 5, 10, 15, 20, 50-year plan, and that's what I hope he does.
Okay, you're our favorite politician from Massachusetts. It's not even close, Scott, okay? But there's another politician from Massachusetts who's been in the news lately. Shockingly, after a second get-together, a dinner, mind you, at a very nice restaurant 2 nights ago, Mitt Romney, of all people, the same guy that savaged Donald Trump not that long ago, eviscerated Donald Trump and took him to task on a personal level. Looks like he's got the inside track on Secretary of State. Be honest, Scott. Are you shocked, or is Donald Trump that type of guy?
No, listen, I told the president-elect that it would be a great choice, and here's why. Yeah, you get 2 billionaires who kick the crap out of each other, and they got really personal. But you know what happened after that? They both sucked it up, and they said, you know what? We're both type A. We're both hard chargers. We both want to win. And they had the good sense, and I thought class, to actually get together, not once, but twice, and probably have spoken many other times, and say, you know what? We got something special here. Let's go try to make it even more special. And I think it's the Abraham Lincoln approach, where he brought in his rivals and people that didn't get along with him because he wants differences of opinion. He doesn't want all, butt kissers up there. Oh, yes, Mr. Trump, you're great, sir, you're great. He wants people who are going to disagree with him, and the fact that he can bring in his rival, I think is a good thing. People respect Mitt Romney. The never Trumpers, they're pissed off. I get it. I get it. But there's another segment that really, really respect and like Mitt Romney, like me. And I love Donald Trump, too. So there are people like that as well. And to think somebody who has saved the Olympics for Salt Lake City, he's done some wonderful things, obviously, business-wise. Our allies will respect us. I know our foes will fear us. So to me, it makes a lot of sense. And here's what I think happened. They got together, and Mitt probably, because I know it, probably said, listen, Mr. President-elect, I just want to tell you, first of all, congratulations. And I want to apologize. I was out of line for whatever reason. It's not my style. I apologize. What can I do to help? That's probably what happened. I bet you.
Do you think, Scott, that he actually said to Donald Trump afterwards, "Hey, listen, by the way, I just apologize. Please don't tell anybody I did that."
Yeah. I think actually the one thing I know about Donald Trump is that he's a classy guy. He gets it. He gets it when somebody comes and looks him in the eye and says, "You know what, sir? I screwed up. I screwed up." He's not going to necessarily rub their face in it. If it's not genuine, he will. But if it's truly genuine, which I believe it was, then I think he's going to say, you know what, Mitt's a good guy. He's a hustler. He's a type A like me, and he brings value. And he wants the best people around him, period. And that adds value to me. And I think that's a great example for our own party, but most importantly to the people on the far left who are destroying, tearing down flags out of schools, protesting every day about something, and it's a good example that even people who didn't get along can actually get along for the betterment of our country.
It is refreshing that Trump can rise above it, as you say, and put that behind him. But there are people out there like Kellyanne Conway, Mike Huckabee, even Newt Gingrich called Mitt Romney a suck-up. And that he just wasn't loyal, and there is something to be said about loyalty. I mean, Gingrich and
of course there is, Bernie,
and Giuliani, they were loyal, and while they didn't hide when the going got tough, and so that's why.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, but there is that sentiment out there, and there's something to be said for it.
Of course there is, but listen. The only person that matters out of all the people you reference is the president-elect. It's his decision, period. Yeah. And if the others don't like it, well, too bad. He's going to put the people around him who he feels can put the best team together to make America great again. And I believe he's doing just that.
And just one more thing on the Secretary of State thing. I think Trump went out of his way to say it's going to be a different era here with foreign policy. It's going to be America first. And he cited the Iraq War, and I think that there should be a litmus test. If you have not learned the lesson of the Iraq War, that should be, was it the Iraq War a mistake or was it not a mistake? For example, if they're floating John Bolton, he can never be Secretary of State in a Trump administration if Trump is to be consistent and true to his word. And I wonder, I don't know what Mitt Romney's position is on the Iraq War, for example, or on regime change. Are we going to invite al-Sisi from Egypt to the White House, which we should, because he's not a democratically elected guy, but he's still our friend in the Middle East. I mean, those are the things that I want to know about my Secretary of State.
Yeah, of course. And the Secretary of State is there to give guidance to the president, and that decision is ultimately up to him. And it's easy to quarterback about Iraq. And here's the problem with Iraq. Had we left a transition force, a quick reaction training force there, instead of abandoning Iraq, we would not have the problems we have there in the Middle East, I believe, and others believe as well, who are much more knowledgeable and experienced than me. Had we left 10,000, give it
That's true. That's all true.
By our generals on the ground, instead of leaving a vacuum. Remember, ISIS said to Al-Qaeda of Iraq said, hey, don't come here anymore. We lost. Go someplace else. And then we left. And then not only did Al-Qaeda of Iraq morph into ISIS, which is bigger than New England, and into this force we see today, we also set the tone and not only for Syria when we drew a red line and did nothing, and then, emboldened Putin with Crimea and Ukraine and emboldened China to build islands. It's all a chain reaction from those poor decisions. I'm not opposed to going in and getting rid of a dictator like Saddam Hussein. Okay, based on what we find now was faulty material, it was the best we had, and we made a logical decision. Was it the right decision? Easy
No.
on Monday morning quarterback.
We should have left him there. We should leave Bashar Assad there.
Yeah, we need to clean up our mess, and we didn't.
Right, that's a fact. I have to defend Bernard here only because, and I agree with you, I think the Iraq thing is perfect Monday morning quarterback. Republicans were for it, Democrats were for it, everybody was for it. But I will say this, I remember the very next morning, I'm going to give Bernard a pat on the back here, working on the Imus in the Morning show. Bernard was furious on air, Scott Brown, yelling and screaming that this is going to be the biggest mistake the U.S. is going to make.
It doesn't matter if you were for or against it. Did you learn the lesson of the folly that it was, the invasion itself, and taking out dictators like Gaddafi, like also the guy in Egypt. What the hell is it? What the hell was his name before Morsi? Mubarak. Leave these guys there. They're our friends.
You see, but here's a problem, because what happens is things got worse after that, Scott. So now we're actually thinking about leaving horrible men who murder, who genocide in their own country in power, because in these situations things got worse afterwards. To me, that's not really a great call, is it?
It's tough. It's a tough call.
Right.
Whatever happens, I think you're referring to obviously Syria, and what that's such a complete screw up under this administration that it's going to take, I think, generations to figure that
Agreed.
out.
Now, listen, we're talking about Secretary of State, but there are tons of other positions that Donald Trump has filled and still has to fill. And it makes our hearts warm here on the Bernie and Sid show that Scott Brown is being considered for a very prominent position, one that we desperately need help with. I thought McDonald would be good, I'll be honest with you. But the truth is, not much has changed. So I don't know what you can say, what you can't say, but according to reports, you're being considered for the Secretary of Veteran Affairs. How's that going?
I had a great meeting with him. He's known prior to this my feelings of it. I served 35 years, last 4 at the Pentagon, retired as a colonel a couple of years ago. Been serving on Veterans Committee since I was a state rep, state senator, U.S. senator. Our family has been involved in philanthropic veterans causes forever. I mean, Aidala's performed herself 5 times with the AFB tour overseas. So, we live and breathe it. And listen, I think it's the toughest job. It has the second largest budget. And here's why it's the toughest job, because while there are angels working there, really, truly wonderful angels in all parts of it, there's also some folks there that shouldn't be there. They need to go. And there needs to be some really dramatic changes in certain areas to stop and reduce suicide, to get people mental health care that they need, reducing the lines, and streamlining and consolidating, and getting better value for our tax dollars. And people are dying.
Yeah, really.
And it's real. It's the toughest job because people are dying like daily.
And who better than Senator Scott Brown, who spent 30 years in the military? You retired as a colonel. You were an infantry officer. And who better than somebody like you to run an administration like that?
Well, listen, thank you. But to think, that 35 years is the only qualification, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I'm not going to be able to do it myself. I'm going to need every nonprofit veterans group to help. It's almost going to be like a public-private partnership. I'm going to need I'm going to need Chuck Schumer. I'm going to need Gillibrand. I'm going to need all the congressmen, the mayor of New York City, and others to do their part. And we need to work in a partnership. Because it's not about me, it's not about Donald Trump, it's not about Scott ran and lost or ran and won. It's not about that. It's about people dying. Yeah. And they need our help. Yeah. Period.
On the way out, though, I've heard a lot of people say this. You've already had a very distinguished Scott Brown political career, Senator of Massachusetts, all that great stuff, and you've done a terrific job. But I've heard other people say this, too, that with all I've done, if in fact I do end up with a position with Donald Trump, this is like the ultimate honor. I couldn't even dream of something like this. Are you in that same camp?
Yeah, listen, I've run 21 races. I'm 19-2, and every one of them has special moments. But to represent our country when the president-elect calls, I'm not familiar with what that's like yet, because every interaction I've had with a president was President Obama, and it wasn't good.
Right.
That's funny. So it'll be an honor, and it would be even more of an honor because it's something that I'm so passionate like you and everyone listening is, regardless of your political stripes, is that, hey, listen, we have people who are volunteering and they're in trouble and they need help, and let's just cut the crap and join forces and get it done. Period. So that's why it's a daunting. I haven't slept in like 5 days just thinking about it, trying to figure out how to really nail it down and maximize everything, and feeling better and better. But and the process is in its ordinary course. I'm not concerned either way when I hear various names. I know where I stand. I know my qualifications. If he wants me, great. If he doesn't, however I can serve, I'm ready to do it.
Well, you're a good man. Fingers crossed, Scott Brown, former senator from Massachusetts. Trump is listening right now on his way to the airport out to Indianapolis. I guarantee you. He's heard you, and we wish you all the best, Scott
Absolutely.
Brown.
All right, good. Hey, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you, hopefully, Bernie and Sid, before the holidays. We'll grab some beers, okay?
Sounds
look
good.
Forward to it.
Thanks,
guys. Bernie and Sid back after this.
11:41 on your Thursday morning, the Bernie and Sid Show. Bernie on his way to Fox News. He'll be on Outnumbered coming up at noon. So I'm with you, Sid, for the next 19 minutes until Curtis and Kubi come your way at noon. We'll hit the phones, 1-800-848-WABC, 1-800-848-9222. And we'll start right now with Gary in the Bronx. Good morning, Gary. You're on Bernie and Sid. How are you, pal?
All right, Big Sid. First thing is, how do you get a bad back talking on the radio? I hear you guys doing commercials. You have bad back.
No. I don't have a bad back. Bernard has a bad back. It's not from talking on the radio. It's because he lugs like 9,000 beers to the beach every day during the. I know that seems hard to believe, Bernard the Irishman, but he lugs like 9,000 beers a day to the beach every day during the summer. You hurt his back.
I thought during commercial breaks you guys were throwing haymakers at each other.
Nah, no more. That's over. We're too old.
I know that's all, but that was a great fight. Let me tell you.
No. It wasn't a great fight.
Give me a little time, because I'm banned from all these stations. Come on. I nailed the World Series, had the Cubbies in 7. I even had Trump where he would be on the last day of the campaign. I said he'd be in Michigan talking jobs, not talking nonsense. So, just give me a little time here. The first thing with that term, remember the term posse a couple of weeks ago with Phil Jackson? I knew that LeBron James was just bullying older guy and stuff. I said, if that really bothered him, we're going to call LeBron the Tower of Jelly from now on. And also, Sid, from now on, whenever I'm in a traffic jam, I'm going to think little fat boys behind this, because every time, with the tailgate, bridgegate, all this stuff, you got to be a psycho to purposely create a traffic jam. There's always traffic jams on the Washington Bridge. Why would you try to create one out there? And also, I'll leave you with something funny. This is really because I like you, Sid. I saw you at a Ranger game 25 years ago.
Okay.
And you run around the garden and everything. Fans always loved you. People should know. Sid's a big sports guy. I don't believe you're talking from Mickey Mantle to Mickey Mouse to Minnie Mouse. Yeah, here's a funny one from 2000. It's the Reform Party primary, right?
Yeah.
It's Buchanan and Trump going at it. So the reporters go up to Trump and they go to him, they mention Buchanan's name, and Trump goes, yeah. He's the guy who wrote the book about Hitler, right? So later that day, some guy calls Talk Radio and goes, you ever take a close look at Trump and you look at his two eyebrows? They're like two giant wheat fields. After that call, you never saw those giant wheat fields on
there you go. All right, so he listened and he got rid of those things, huh? There you go. Donald Trump taking some advice. All right, thank you, Gary. Here is Eric. I think he's on the George Washington Bridge. Good morning, Eric. How are you, pal?
Hey, Sid. How you doing?
All right, man.
Thankfully, since I was put on hold, I'm already down to 56th Street on the West Side Highway. So okay. The traffic.
Where are you heading? Well, where is your final destination today?
Well, my final destination is where I was. One of the reasons I'm calling to invite you down, because I help run a boxing gym in Lower Manhattan.
Which one?
And it's called Trinity Boxing.
Is it on Trinity Place?
No, for many years we were on Greenwich, right around Trinity Place.
Right.
We were on Greenwich, but because of landlord problems and rent constrictions, we were forced out of that location, and we are now on Duane Street in Tribeca.
Okay, cool.
And I've been listening to you for years. I was trying to think back. You used to have a talk show many years ago with, I think maybe called the Sports Guys. Was that the name? Or
that was my very, very first job in New York. I arrived here in 2000. Right. I hosted mornings with Scott Kaplan at W1EW, and eventually, by the way, ended up doing that show with Craig Carton, who's now the morning show host with Boomer on WFAN.
Absolutely. No, I know all of that, but the original partner's name, that was the guy that I couldn't remember his name. So thank you for sharing that with me.
You got it. I'll come down to the gym. I'll check you out, Eric. Thank you for the phone call, and thank you for the invite. I'll definitely come down and say hello. Here is Mitch in New Jersey. Good morning, Mitchell.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Listen, I call you guys all the time. I love you. You guys are great. I was just wondering, how did you guys get together? You were down in Florida. Bernie was up here. There was that slot open where Geraldo was. How did you guys end up? I know you were friends, but how did you end up getting together to get the show together?
You know what? We became so friendly, Mitch, during our Imus days that when I went down to Florida for good in 2005, until I returned in 2016, during that 11-year period, Bernie and I kept in touch all the time. We remained very, very good friends, and we always had this desire to work together, always. So even well before Geraldo left this place and those talks broke down, about 5 months before that, August of 2015, I emailed the program director here, Craig Schwab, and I said, listen, if you have any vacation days, any fill-in days, let me do a couple of shows up there. I'm doing politics here in South Florida. I'm not just a sports guy. I sent them a Chuck Todd interview, a Mike Huckabee interview, a Marco Rubio interview. Make a long story short, he allowed me to do a couple of fill-in shows over the summer and during holidays with Bernard. And then when Geraldo decided not to come back or whatever, they said, don't come back. Then the slot did open, and it made it easy for me and Bernard to step in. But we remained friendly for 11 years. We did a couple of shows together, and we were the obvious choice once Geraldo was not coming back.
Yeah, and I heard those early shows. They were great. And
Thank
I'm
you.
happy with the choice. You guys are doing a great job. I listen to you every day.
Thanks,
all right,
Mitch.
Buddy?
We appreciate that. You too. Take care, buddy. Thank you. Let's go down to a place where I did work for over a decade. One of my best buddies down there. He listens every day on the WABC app. It's our buddy CJ Vaca in Boca Raton. Good morning, CJ.
Good morning, brother.
Welcome to New York City, tough guy.
I can't wait. I'll be up there in a couple of months for my baseball draft. Hey, man.
Such a geek for my baseball draft. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
29th year, Suburban Baseball League, baby.
Where do you do the draft? In Manhattan or Brooklyn?
We used to do it at the Downtown Athletic Club before 9/11, and then obviously that went away, and now we do it at the Borgata down in AC.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, a guy who doesn't gamble, that's perfect for me.
Cool.
But, hey, I'm calling in simply because, I love Bernard, but you got to calm him down. I mean, seriously, he does not see outside of the Big Apple. I work with a lot of different Latin people, business to business, and I swear to you, at least a dozen of them have told me since the election, they've gotten more attacks verbally by white people telling them Trump's going to kick them out of this country. You don't belong here. And just random people. And one guy yesterday, he's lived here 20 years. He said this has happened more to him in the last 2 weeks than it's happened his whole life.
Listen, I believe some of that is true, but you know what, CJ? I know who you voted for. You know who I'd voted. We were in the same camp, and at this point, bitching and complaining about Donald Trump basically makes us both sore losers. We thought she was going to win. The world thought she was going to win, and she got nailed. I mean, she lost almost every state she had to win. She may have won the popular vote, but when you consider New York and California, that ain't saying much. So in the end, I mean, we just have to accept the fact that there are still some very angry people. You're right, CJ, very angry. But he won. He won fair and square. He kicked her ass, and he's the guy. That's it.
And I agree with that, and I'm going to support him as much as I can until he does things that drive me nuts. But the other thing that was on the local news down here in Palm Beach County was a mosque in Broward is being abused.
I saw that. Yep.
And the one thing that drove me nuts is one letter said that Trump's going to do to Muslims what Hitler did to the Jews. And that scares me.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that far, CJ. I love you, buddy. And I love the fact that you listen every single day and text me every single show and rip Bernard and all that good stuff. But I'm not going to go that far. I don't find Donald Trump, and listen, he said some really stupid things. He said some offensive things. I nailed them all along the way, being on with Bernard here the last almost year and a half. But I don't think he's that much of a hateful guy. I really don't. We'll take a short break, come back, and wrap things up on the phones right after this.
77 WABC Traffic and Transit.
There is a disabled truck that's causing delays on the George Washington Bridge at upper level. It's inbound at the Harlem River Drive, and traffic is jammed from the tolls. Also, a broken down truck on the Cross Bronx Expressway, westbound at the Sheridan Expressway. That'll have you tapping the brakes from the Bruckner interchange, about a 30-minute delay through here. And then Queens, there's the wreck on the LIE westbound at Casino Boulevard in the left lane, causing a 20-minute slowdown from Community Drive. Plus, an accident investigation in Laurelton, 135th Avenue, both ways place at 233rd Street. Cross Island Parkway, northbound before Hempstead Avenue. That accident is gone. And right now, traffic is brought to you by Peerless Boilers. It's time to replace that old inefficient beast in your basement with an American-made, Energy Star certified Peerless Boiler. Don't wait until it's too late. Go to peerlessboiler.com to find a dealer near you. Checking the forecast from Channel 7's Bill Evans, partly sunny and 53. Overnight lows down to 40, 50 with sunshine tomorrow. Our next report in about 15 minutes. Angela Chase, right now traffic on 77 WABC.
All right, how about a great gift this season? How about looking 10 to 15 years younger? It's the Esotique XV Christmas and Holiday Sale from Chamonix. Treat yourself to the very best luxury skincare that money can buy. In fact, here is Helen. She's from Roy, Utah. She says, and I quote, "From the first time I used Esotique XV, I saw a difference in the appearance of my skin. I'm 69 years old. My skin is glowing and looks younger. I'm sold on this product and can't wait to buy more from Chamonix." And she did, and you will too. Look 10, 15, even 20 years younger. Well, you get your money back. Here's a great deal. From today until Christmas, order Esotique XV and get Genucel for bags and puffiness and the legendary Deep Firming Serum free. Just call 800-525-4974 or hop online, xvbeauty.com. That's 3 free gifts just for trying Esotique XV today. You'll be amazed. Well, you get your money back. Call now and shipping is free too. That's 1-800-525-4974, 800-525-4974, or hop online, xvbeauty.com. So Bernard is on TV in about 8 minutes. He'll be on Outnumbered on Fox News. He was on O'Reilly on Tuesday night. He's on Waters World a couple of weeks a month. In fact, I'll be on Sunday night with my good buddy Duke Castiglione on Channel 5 doing the weekend sports wrap show on Sunday night. But every time me and Bernard are on TV, we wear our high bar shirts, and why not? They're gorgeous. Everybody does, right? Bill O'Reilly wears them, Sean Hannity, the whole Fox 5 NFL crew, Jimmy Johnson, Michael Strahan, Terry Bradshaw, all of them. It's the choice shirt of many popular entertainment and sports personalities. To make your own high bar shirt, it's easy. 4 easy steps. Give high bar your neck size, choice of fit, trim, tapered, or relaxed, your sleeve length, and your shirt tail length. That's it. Then pick from an array of styling options and luxurious fabrics. Also visit the High Bar in Stock Sport Collection. Each shirt proudly made in the USA since 1933. Visit them online at highbarshirt.com. In fact, right now, enter the promo code WABC and you get 10% off for a Christmas and Hanukkah deal. That's highbarshirt.com, highbarshirt.com.
Call out the BS.
Not everybody is consistent as you and I are.
Follow Bernie and Sid on Twitter right now at Bernie and Sid.
Every day, New York City makes capital investments in its parks, bridges, roads, and schools so that New York continues to be a great place to live, work, and visit. Now you can invest in New York City, too. New York City will be selling tax-exempt general obligation bonds with a 2-day retail order period on Monday, December 5th and Tuesday, December 6th. During which individual investors will have priority in placing orders for the bonds. The interest on these tax-free municipal bonds is exempt from federal, New York State, and New York City personal income taxes. The tax-exempt bonds are backed by the city's unconditional obligation to pay. Investing in New York City general obligation bonds helps build and improve this great city. If you would like more information about investing in New York City general obligation bonds, please contact your financial advisor or broker. This advertisement is not an offer to sell or a solicitation of an offer to buy bonds. Bonds may only be purchased through a broker. Please carefully review the official statement which describes the offering.
Get better than Black Friday deals at Lumber Liquidators' Yellow and Black Friday flooring sale. Like pre-finished hardwood from an incredible $129. Gorgeous strand bamboo from just 99 cents. The lowest price of the year. North American and European laminate bundles from an unbeatable 39 cents. Plus save on wood look tile, luxury vinyl plank, butcher block countertops, and more at your local store. Plus special financing. The Yellow and Black Friday flooring sale ends Tuesday. Visit lumberliquidators.com to find a New York store near you today.
Bernie and Sid, 77 WABC.
Back here on Bernie and Sid. Bernie on his way to Fox News. He's there now. He'll be on Outnumbered coming up in about 5 minutes. Kevin's in Nyack this morning. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning. You just had Scott Brown on, and you know what? A lot of people seem to be missing a point that I find to be very troubling, and that is that there was a conference with those neo-Nazis, American Nazis, I call them, in Washington last week. And you know what? There's something called the Greatest Generation, the people who fought in World War II, the veterans who died and were wounded in World War II.
All right.
And when those guys started to throw around their little German words and throw up the Nazi salute, they disparaged and insulted every single American that has ever served in the armed services. Not one person has brought this up, and especially it has not come nothing from the president-elect about this. And if you want to insult veterans, that's a great way to do it. And those guys, let me tell you what those guys, a bunch of 25 to 40-year-old spoiled brats.
All right.
But the only thing they've ever fought for is their right to party.
That's it. Okay, can't argue with that. Kevin, I'm glad you brought it up. I agree with you. I'm a Jew, so I agree with you 1,000%. Are we wrapping things up here? Want to thank our guests today. What a great day of guests on this program. Bo Dietl. Go to the website, boformayor.com. That's BOFORMAYOR, boformayor.com. Arthur Aidala stopped by today. He's running for public office, maybe even Brooklyn DA. And Scott Brown, too. Coming up tomorrow, live in studio on the Bernie and Sid Show. How about Cyndi Lauper? She's going to be great fun coming up tomorrow. So Curtis and Kubi are coming up next. Bernard is outnumbered on Fox in about 3 minutes. Mark Simone, F you. Till tomorrow, for Bernie, I'm Sid. Peace!